We continue now at the top of Daf Lamed Ches Amud Aleph and Meseches Menachos. This is Menachos Daf 38a. This daf is sponsored by Shalom ben Noim, Le'iloi Nishmas Moshe Eliyahu ben David. Thank you for your sponsorship. If you would like to sponsor an Amud or a daf, see the description box below, and see the description box below to see how you can support this channel. On the previous Amud, the Gemara had an incident in which Ravina was following Mar bar Rav Ashi, and it was Shabbos, and one of the corners of the tzitzis broke, and he did not let him know until they arrived at the place they were going. And Mar bar Rav Ashi said, had you told me earlier, so I would have taken off the garment entirely, because it's considered to be carrying the rest of the tzitzis if the mitzvah is not being fulfilled, and that's a violation of Shabbos, and therefore essentially you should have told me earlier. And the Gemara asked, but is that really the case? Would one really remove the garment? But the halacha is gadol kavod habrius. Human dignity is so great that it overrides a lo saseh in the Torah, and so therefore to take off the garment would be a violation of human dignity. Why would he have taken off the garment? And the Gemara now continues and answers, when we say that kavod habrius is docha lo saseh shebetorah, it doesn't really mean a doraisa. It really means belav de lo saucer. It just means the negative commandment of lo saucer. The pasuk of lo saucer is don't turn away from what the chachamim tell a person to do, and so therefore essentially it's saying that kavod habrius is docha a derabanan, but not a deoraisa. And Rashi explains, belav de lo saucer could go tiltul isser midrabanan, for example, moving things on Shabbos, which is also midrabanan, those items which are also midrabanan. And Rashi continues, va'avonim mikorzalos. So, for example, if you have stones that are useful in the bathroom, mutter lahachnis lebeis hakisei, would be permitted to bring those into the beis hakisei on Shabbos, mishum kavod habrius, because of human dignity. And again, that's an isser derabanan that is pushed off because of kavod habrius. Avaloseis ma'asa, but to carry a burden, tichsib behedya lo dochi kavod habrius, that's already written explicitly in the Torah. That's a doraisa, so that is not docha kavod habrius. And the Gemara continues, V'ika Diamri, there are those that say they have the different version of the above discussion as follows, Mehasam, from over there, Amarle, he said it to him, and Rashi explains, Ika Diamri Mehasam Amarle means, Ravina ifsekarna dechuta, meaning to say, Ravina told Mar bar Rav Ashi at the point that it happened, he actually told him that the tzitzis, the corner of the tzitzis had broken. And so therefore, essentially, he was telling him at that time, there's something you may want to do about that. V'amarle, and then he said to him, Mar bar Rav Ashi said to him, My daitach, what are you thinking that you're telling me? Lemishti, are you thinking that I'm going to throw off this garment? V'amar mar, but the master said, Gadol kavod habrius, shedoch es lo saseh shebetorah, kavod habrius, human dignity is so great that it pushes off a lo saseh in the Torah. But the Gemara continues and asks, V'hatirgama Rav bar Shava kami de Rav Kahana, as we said above, but didn't Rav bar Shava, in front of Rav Kahana, didn't he interpret that statement of Gadol kavod habrius, belav de lo saucer, that it's just talking about lav de lo saucer, it's only by derabbanans, and so therefore, how can we use that over here to say not to throw off the garment? And the Gemara continues and answers to that, Hachanami here also, Carmelis derabbanan. We're talking about a Carmelis, it was not a Rishus Aravim, it was just a Carmelis, which just is a Rishus on a derabbanan level, a problem of carrying, and that's why I said again, Gadol kavod habrius, there would be no need to throw off the garment in this situation. And Rashi explains, Carmelis mutter l'taltel b'sochim in HaTorah, and a Carmelis one is permitted to carry on a doraisa level. And Rashi continues, Lishna achrina, another explanation, this is another explanation of the earlier Gemara in the previous Amud, Ve'ikr, and this is the proper explanation, Haiman de tzarye leglime, one who ties his garment. On the previous Amud, this Gemara was explained that he folded and tied the garment in a way where now the tzitzis are placed in the wrong area of the corner. In this explanation, Rashi says, Karnos taliso kaf v'kashar v'doma kilu kitzon ve'ein lakanfos. He folded it over, and it's as if it has no corners, and he did that kedei lahafkia mitoras tzitzis. He did that in order that there should be no obligation of tzitzis. And so according to this explanation of that Gemara, lo asa klum, doing that is nothing. Lepotra mitzitzis, it is not effective in exempting it from tzitzis. My time a command shadi dami uvas dalit kanafayim shesofa lachzer letchilasa. It's like it has four corners, and really that's going to go back. The fact that he folded it over and tied it is not enough. It's going to go back to its original configuration, and therefore it is still obligated in tzitzis. And Rashi continues, Amar Ravdimi Haiman dechaite leglime, and on this Gemara also Rashi offers another interpretation, Kafal kanfoseh kilohein mekutzos. Again, he folds over the corners like they're cut. V'tafar hakiflayim shelo yeshuv, when he stitches it in a way that it's not going to go back to the old way. Afilu hachi lo asa v'lo klum lahafkim, and at tzitzis still he has not undone the obligation of tzitzis. Dechol kama de lo pasak le shmami nomi boy roile, as long as he doesn't cut it, so still you see that he needs that part of the cloth, v'yadayin hein min hatalis, and so therefore there's still part of the talis. Hadron alacha hakometz, we'll return to you, parak hakometz. This is the end of the third parak of Meseches Menachos. If you're enjoying these videos and this channel, please like, share, and subscribe, and take a look at the description box below to see how you can support this channel. And we will now begin the third parak of Meseches Menachos. The parak begins with the Mishnah, Hatcheles eina ma'akeves as halavan, the blue threads of tzitzis, they don't hold back the mitzvah being fulfilled of the white threads. V'halavan eino ma'akeves hatcheles, and the lavan, the white threads, they don't hold back the mitzvah being fulfilled from the blue threads. And the Mishnah continues, Tefillah shel yad, with regards to the tefillin shel yad, eina ma'akeves as shel rosh, that does not hold back the mitzvah from being fulfilled with the shel rosh. V'shel rosh, and the shel rosh, eina ma'akeves as shel yad, that does not hold back the mitzvah being fulfilled of the shel yad. And Rashi explains, Hatchelas eina ma'akeves as halavan, v'afagav the mitzvah lo says tchelas beis chutin b'tzitzis, even though there's a mitzvah to have two blue threads in the tzitzis, kidem afarish l'kamon, as will be explained later on. Even though that is the case, afilu hachi, nevertheless, ein zeh ma'akeves zeh, one does not hold back the other one. V'yavid arbasan tchelas, or arbasan love, and if all four threads would be blue, or all four threads would be white, yatsa, he would still fulfill the mitzvah. And we should point out over here that the explanation of the first part of the Mishnah and the explanation of the second part of the Mishnah, as they are generally understood, are different. In the first part of the Mishnah, the idea is that the mitzvah of tzitzis is fulfilled, even in a situation, let's say, all the threads are blue or all the threads are white, the mitzvah is still fulfilled. In the second part of the Mishnah, the Mishnah is saying that the tefillin shel yad and tefillin shel rosh are separate mitzvahs, and therefore one puts on just the tefillin shel yad, he's still going to fulfill that particular mitzvah. If he only puts on the tefillin shel rosh, he will still fulfill that particular mitzvah. That is a slightly different explanation, even though the language is similar. And the Gemara says, Lema masnisan deloka Rebbe. Let us say that our Mishnah is not following the opinion of Rebbe. Titania, as we learned in a brayso, ureisa moso, and you'll see it, melamed shema'akvin zeh zeh. This teaches that they do prevent the mitzvah, each one prevents the other one. Divrei Rebbe, these are the words of Rebbe, this is a pasuk by tzitzis. V'chachamim omrim, and the chacham say, ein ma'akvin, they don't hold back the mitzvah. And the Gemara continues, my time with Rebbe, what is the reason of Rebbe? Techsiv, as it's written in the pasuk hakanaf, it says again at the corner, min kanaf, it means it has to be of the same type as the corner. Uchsiv psil techeles, and then it says the techeles thread. V'yamar rachmona, and the pasuk is saying, ureisa moso, you see it, ad deika tarvayu bechad, you have to have both of them in one. And Rashi explains min kanaf hainu lavan. The idea over here is as follows. When it says min kanaf, so that means to say that it has to be the white threads. The rov talisos shel pishtim hainu lavanos, because most of their garments, most of their talesim, they were pishtim, they were linen, and they were white. And then techeles is tzemer tzavua. Techeles refers to the wool that is dyed blue. Kedamrinan midashesh kisna techeles imra. That's why we say that techeles is imra. It's talking about the wool, and so therefore that's the blue wool. And the idea, according to Rebbe, is it says haknaf, which is min knaf, and it says psil techeles, which is talking about the techeles, and it says ureisa moso, saying adiika tarvayu bechad, that both are going to be required. And the Gemara continues, v'rabbanan, and the Rabbanan respond to this. They respond to Rebbe ureisa moso. It says ureisa also, and again, Rebbe's learning from the idea that it's in the singular, you need both, but the Rabbanan understand the opposite, kol chad l'chudei mashma, it's referring to each one on its own, and so therefore the white alone, the blue alone, would fulfill the mitzvah. And the Gemara continues and asks its question, lema deloka Rebbe, let us say that our Mishnah is not following Rebbe. Rebbe seems to say that both are required, and again, our Mishnah says the tchelas is not makiv the lovan is not makiv the tchelas. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Yehuda Marav, Rav Yehuda says that Rav says, afilu Rebbe. One can even say that our Mishnah is following Rebbe. Lo nitzracha ela lekadem. Our Mishnah is necessary with regards to what takes precedence. And Rashi explains, Lo nitzracha masnisin dekatani ein ma'akvin zeh. When our Mishnah says ein ma'akvin zeh, ela lahaktim, it has to do with precedence. Meaning, shem hiktim hamucher. If one puts the one that's supposed to go later first, dahainu tcheles, because that would refer to tcheles. The lovan ksib bereisha, lovan is written first. Let's say a person first puts in the tcheles and then the lovan out of order, so that's what we're saying, it's not ma'akev. The Tanya, as we learned in a brayso, mitzvah lahaktim lovan l'tcheles, it's a mitzvah to have the lovan go before the tcheles. V'im hiktim tcheles l'lovan yotze, if he puts the tcheles before the lovan, he's still yotze, he still fulfills the mitzvah. Ella shechiser mitzvah, but he's missing a mitzvah. My chiser mitzvah, what does it mean he's missing a mitzvah? And Rashi explains, haknaf min knaf, im hiktim hatcheles es halavan, if the tcheles precedes the lavan, if it's inserted before the lavan, the blue threads are inserted before the white threads, eina ma'akevis, it doesn't prevent the fulfillment of the mitzvah, vein tzarech lifsok hatcheles, you don't have to cut off the tcheles, eliyitin halavan achrav, rather, you place the lavan, you place the white after. And we will take a look at the Shita Mekubetzes as well. Mitzvah lahaktim lavan l'tcheles. Again, it is a mitzvah for the lavan, for the white, to go before the tcheles. Perish hakontras litchov halavan beknaf tchila. Rashi's explanation is, in terms of inserting the threads, which goes first. V'lo nehira, but the Shita Mekubetzes says that doesn't seem to be the proper explanation. Devaha mai chavivusa de mitzvah. What kind of chavivus of the mitzvah is it? Who cares which goes first? V'yesh lamar de mitzvah lahaktim chulias shal lavan l'chulias shal tcheles. And so the Shita Mekubetzes offers another explanation that the idea is in terms of the looping of the threads around each other. First you do the lavan, then the tcheles. Kedamrinan lekamon mascha b'shalavan u'mesayim b'shalavan. Like we're going to say later on, you begin with the white threads and you conclude with the white threads. The Shita Mekubetzes continues, uvitosas acheros kosvu mitzvah lahaktim perish Rashi masnisin dekotani ein makven zelazel lahaktim hamaucher mitoch perusho mashma. From Rashi it seems the mayri linyan tchivas achutin. Again, we're talking about the inserting of the threads. Beknaf the mitzvah lahaktim lavan v'im hiktim tcheles lelavan lo me'akev. Again, that one should insert the white first, and if he does the blue, it's not me'akev. V'lo nehira, but again, that doesn't seem correct. Who cares what goes first if you can't even tell what was put in at the end? Once you look at the tzitzis, no one's going to know which one was inserted first. After they're both inserted, you can't tell which one was first. Therefore, it appears the mitzvah lahaktim chuliya shalavan tchila kedamar lekamon mascha b'shalavan u'mesayim b'shalavan. Again, Shita Mekubetzes gives again the similar explanation we're talking about in terms of the looping, which one would be able to discern, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Lamed Ches Amid Beis.